Okay, this is an unboxing video for the Tesla Hong Kong wall connector, as they call it. Very similar to the high power wall connector, but limited to 40 amps to 40 volts. The first interesting thing to see is on the box itself. There's a white sticker stuck over on part of it, and looking at the end of it, it seems to say connector. So my guess is that actually says high power wall connector, and they were using the box for this version of it for the Hong Kong market. Let's have a look inside. Okay. First thing we see the manual. Approved markets China and Hong Kong, so great to hear they're using the same version for both markets. Nice little manual. And there's the beast. The first box contains the mounting screws, etc. Fairly simple. We have the unit itself. Take that into place there. This is the mounting plate. Pretty meaty. Seems like stainless steel. Or maybe aluminum, but I think it's stainless steel. Mounting plate. I think the idea is that this you mount onto the wall first, and then presumably these bolt embedded nuts are used to mount the actual unit onto the mounting plate. It has got a hole for cabling through the wall. For my installation I'm going to have to go out the bottom or the side, I think. Seems a very thin cable compared to, maybe they've changed that from the high power wall connector. It's a pretty thin cable. Compare versus my thumb or my finger. You can see it's probably about, I guess, about 1 centimetre in diameter. And that is the European style Mennekes connector, including a push button to open the charge port door. It's a more meaty connector than the US version, but the nice thing is it's standard. You can buy standard cables, the sockets and the plugs are both absolutely standard. So this is the wall connector. So we have a reset button here and the usual warning label. To get into it, seems to be 2 Torx screws. 2 fairly long Torx screws. There's one. There's 2. Okay. Once those are off, it seems to be prise it up. That's some plastic tabs at the top there. That's the unit. So at the top here we've got the contactors, the circuit board. These are the connectors for the power and earth. Pretty standard. So there's the dip switches to set the unit to match the circuit breaker, and also next to it is the ribbon cable connector. The ribbon cable is here, and it's provided disconnected, interestingly. Seems to be you have 2 ways of getting cables into it. One is through the bottom here. There's a push out or cut out hole, and the other is through the side, similar hole. The bottom hole, yeah, presumably matches up to one in the base plate. Yes, as I suspected there, you've got one mounting bolt and another mounting bolt higher up. Seems to have, looking at the manual, specifications are it supports both single and split phase. So I think for most of Hong Kong we use single phase, up to a 50 amp circuit breaker, 40 amp drawn by the unit continuous. So they're doing the same as US, where they are being a little bit, because they're continuous load, they're drawing less than the circuit breaker. And there are the settings for split phase and single phase. So if you have a 50 amp circuit breaker, the vehicle will draw 40 amps continuous. 40 amp circuit breaker is 32 amps, 20, 16, and a 16 amp circuit breaker, which is your normal 13 amp socket. The vehicle will draw a maximum of 10 amps. That's the unit.